I was on Twitter recently and I saw Spiked put up this post about Scotland banning the smacking of children, and I thought, oh yeah, usual stuff. But then I noticed that Brendan O'Neill claims it is an act of love. It is loving to smack your children. And I'm like, bloody hell, Jesus Christ. And so I understand some people, these, whatever, they say, oh, my daddy smacked me, didn't do me no harm, I'm fine, I turned out okay. I can kind of understand that to an extent, but to say it's loving to hit your child. So anyway, I thought I might as well look at this article to see how he can justify this bizarre claim. He starts off saying this is a nasty authoritarian decision, and for me, when you hear the word authoritarian, it invokes the imagery of people being hit, of physical force being used to discipline and keep people under control. But apparently, if you don't want children to be hit, then you are an authoritarian, which is complete lunacy, it's crazy. And he even talks about the parents' freedom to discipline their children. And if you believe in freedom, you should allow parents to whack their kids. Like, you should be free to attack your children physically. That's his logic here. He then goes, the new law forbids even reasonable physical force against children. It is called the Equal Protection Act because it will give children the same protection from assault that adults enjoy. And I'm like, okay, what's the issue with that? So we should be able to hit children, but we can't hit adults? Are you insane? I just don't get it. And then he says, a mum isn't allowed to walk into Asda and smack an adult who is doing their weekly shop. So why should she be allowed to smack her own kid during a trip to Asda? That's the infantile thinking behind this insidious ban. And I'm like, no, that's a good argument. Why can you smack children, but you can't smack an adult? If I go to Asda and the checkout girl is being really slow, why can't I smack her to speed her up? Come on, love, pack away my shopping, do it faster. Why not? That is illegal. I can't do that. But you can smack your child? Why? Why? You can't just call it infantile. That's not an argument. You have the line about love. Parents smack their children out of love, not hate, out of concern for their welfare, not as an attack on their welfare. But interestingly, he does admit, yes, some parents beat their children, often badly, and there are laws in place to deal with these acts of violence. But a clip, a tap, a smack, and wait for it, an occasional whack with a slipper are not acts of violence. They are acts of disciplinary concern and love. Okay, so if you're using a slipper, are you doing this calmly, or are you randomly pulling your slipper off and just whacking your child, just beating them up, just wailing on your child with a slipper? And that would hurt. A slipper whacking you anywhere on your body would be really painful. But that's not beating your child, just whacking them with a slipper. That's not beating them. It's incredible. This is just, I can't even believe this. In this next paragraph, he gives his argument for smacking. So it says, the idea that you aren't allowed to smack adults and therefore you shouldn't be allowed to smack children is ridiculous. Adults do many things with children that they would never do with adults. They clean their bums, send them to their room, block adult content from their computers, forbid them from wearing clothes. We do these things to children because they are dependents. They need guidance and socialization and sometimes control, and smacking is, or should be, a perfectly acceptable part of that process. Now the issue here is, all of these actions he's listed does not require hitting your child. You can just talk to them to get them to do this. You don't need to hit them. And if you can talk to them, you can bargain. You can say, go to your room, don't wear slaggy clothes, if you're a girl especially, or, and if you don't do that, I won't let you go on the PlayStation, the computer, whatever, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. That's what you do. You negotiate with your children. You don't just whack them if they disagree with you. That's crazy. That's wrong. But in conclusion here, the reason why parents smack their children is quite simple. It is because they are physically stronger than them. And the way we know this, a really simple example, is that when children, especially young boys, get older, say 14, 15, 16, the smacking usually stops because that child can hit back. They can defend themselves. That's it, we know that. And therefore, using this logic, really, O'Neill should be justifying husbands hitting their wives because they are physically stronger, again, usually, than their wives. Why can't they give them a clip, a tap, a smack, or an occasional whack with a slipper if they're misbehaving? Why not? Because the argument here is physical strength, that advantage equals the justification of physical violence. So why can't you do that? Well, you can't because that would be domestic violence. So why is hitting your children as a mother, why is that not domestic violence? It should be. It should be illegal. So anyway, please let me know your thoughts on this. I know many people will still support the smacking of children, but me, myself, call me radical, but I am against child abuse. I know, but yeah. Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, please comment, Ilu, Sassoon, peace out.